Well, folks, we are finally here. It's time for us to take a look at our final two movies that have successfully made their way through 4 rounds of grueling competition to prove their worth as the best of the best when it comes to Christmas movies. These two movies that have shined the brightest on the Christmas tree that is this bracket are Home Alone versus The Santa Claus. Many movies were sacrificed to get us here, and now it's time to take a look at these two individually and explain how they rose to the top. Let's start with Home Alone. This movie was directed by Chris Columbus and written by the late great John Hughes. With a cast including Catherine O'Hara, John Candy, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, and introducing the world to one of the most famous child actors of all time, Macaulay Culkin, this movie has a lot of talent to back it up. With cartoonishly violent physical comedy and a look at life through the eyes of an 8-year-old, it's got a lot to offer the whole family in terms of humor. If we're talking about sentimentality, there are few things that beat Kevin's mom begging, scraping, and screaming to find her way back to her son. And watching Kevin turn from a whiny little brat to a moderately responsible young man who appreciates his family just warms your heart. And believe me, the older you get, you realize how annoying Kevin is at the beginning. So, to see him learn some respect has an extra level of satisfaction. Moving on to The Santa Claus, the writing credits are a little less impressive than John Hughes, and the director was having his first go here. Surprisingly, to me at least, it didn't feel that way. While I wouldn't call this a masterpiece from a technical standpoint, it's just about as great as a live-action Disney movie from the early 90s can be. Now, that may sound like a dig, but I mean that with genuine praise. The cast is led by Tim Allen as the big man himself, Scott Calvin, aka Santa Claus. And now, I know a lot of people have grown to disagree with Tim Allen, the person, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about Tim Allen, the 90s sitcom star. Besides Tim Allen, the rest of the cast isn't really that well known today, besides David Krumholtz as Bernard, the head elf, and Judge Reinhold as Scott's ex-wife's new partner. A lot of the comedy in this movie is driven from Scott being unwillingly pushed into the role of Santa Claus after the previous Santa Claus falls off his roof and dies. But it's not about the comedy as much as how Tim Allen sells it. As Scott, Tim Allen is pretty much playing Tim the Toolman Taylor, or better yet, basically just himself. But as he begins to accept his role as Santa, it's like a switch is flipped, and Tim Allen actually becomes what I think a real-life Santa would be. He's warm and loving and truly cares about making sure the children of the world, including his own son, are happy and cared for. Of course, if we're talking about which movie is technically a better film, this one goes to Home Alone. I mean, it's just made better, it's written better, ultimately it might even be acted better, but if we're talking about which one is a better Christmas movie, I think it's only right to pick The Santa Claus. I don't care who you are, I have a hard time believing that you could watch The Santa Claus without feeling like a kid again. Seeing the magic of the North Pole, learning the creative ways that Santa is able to get in and out of all the houses, even the ones without chimneys. It's just the number one movie I think about every year during Christmas time. And believe me, I was named after Kevin McAllister from Home Alone, so it holds a special place in my heart. But it's just no Santa Claus. This was not an easy decision to make, and honestly, with some convincing, I could have been swayed here and there throughout this bracket, but I don't think there will ever be a time where I don't consider The Santa Claus to be the best Christmas movie ever. Call me blinded by nostalgia, but this movie is the shining star at the top of the Christmas tree. And there you have it, folks. That concludes our first ever Real Raider Realist Reel Showdown. Now, go ahead and let me have it. I know I made some controversial choices along the way, but as I said from the beginning, this bracket was driven by me alone. In the future, as this channel grows, I'd love to get some input and maybe guide future brackets based on some kind of polling system. But in the meantime, let me know what you thought in the comments. If you agreed with my choices, I think you'll agree with my movie reviews overall. If not, I'm sure you'd love to hate watch my videos. So, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for our regularly scheduled movie reviews after Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone, and have a happy new year. Thanks.